This is the regular meeting of the Community Development Commission. Today is Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. Seeing a quorum, this meeting is now officially in session. Call to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Daniel, the honor is yours, sir.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, Bianca, would you please take the roll?
Commissioner Covington,
Here.
Commissioner Lay,
Yeah.
Commissioner Padilla, Commissioner Cornelius, Commissioner Rios, here, Commissioner Gallegos.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum.
Thank you. At this time, members of the public may address the Community Development Commission regarding any non-agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction of the committee. No action may be taken on non-agenda items unless authorized by law. Do we have any public comments? None. Okay, we'll move on. I'll bring it closer. How's that? Better? You're good? Okay. Now we're going to move on to the consent calendar. This is the time for the commission to consider matters under the consent calendar. Items include items number 1 and 2. Do I have a motion to consider items 1 and 2?
Let's move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There we go. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Matter approved by unanimous consent. Moving on to today's business calendar. We will now consider matters under the business calendar. The first item on the business calendar is item number 1. Approve the fiscal year 2024-2025 Housing Authority Annual Plan. Will staff please present the report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Following months of work on this item and on the next item, we are pleased to present you first with our Housing Authority Annual Plan. I'd like to invite up our Housing Authority Analyst, Nikisha Hazel, to present our annual plan.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Commission. My name is Nikisha Hazel. I'm the Housing Analyst for the Santa Ana Housing Authority. And it's my pleasure today to present to you our annual plan for the fiscal year 2024-25. Okay, so before we dive into the annual plan, I just want to give a brief overview of the 5-year plan. Public housing agencies are required by HUD to submit a 5-year plan to advise housing choice voucher participants, members of the public about the PHA's mission for serving the needs of its most vulnerable populations. The PHAs must submit the annual plan annually during the 5-year plan cycle, just as a way to show our progress for those years of the plan. Okay, so SAHA's mission is to provide affordable housing for the most vulnerable members of our community and to use our assistance as a platform to obtain self-sufficiency and independence from our program. So to further that mission, SAHA has created a list of 6 goals for our 5-year plan. And these are the goals that are listed here, such as fully utilizing all the funding from HUD, expanding participation in our family self-sufficiency program, maintaining accuracy and integrity through all of our voucher programs through auditing, increasing housing choice voucher options by attracting new landlords and keeping the ones that we have, affirmatively furthering fair housing, and also providing information on VAWA for our participants and for landlords as well. So for the fiscal year 2024 annual plan, the Santa Ana Housing Authority has received for the calendar year 2023, I'm sorry, Saha received approximately $50 million from HUD to fund our voucher programs. And with this funding, we were able to assist over 3,100 families in 2023, including 270 new families that were admitted onto the program. A majority of those were for our special purpose vouchers, which serve chronically homeless veterans and families in Santa Ana. This year alone, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, we are projecting to admit 150 new families through our project-based voucher program. So as part of the process to develop the annual plan, Saha gathers feedback and input from our resident advisory board. We conduct a resident advisory board meeting on March 12th, 2024. We had 3 meetings conducted at the same time in 3 different languages for our participants. We had it in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. We took the comments from the resident advisory board and incorporated that into our annual plan for this year. Public notice, of course, was issued on the 16th, allowing 45 days for the public to review and comment on the draft annual plan. Okay, so let's take a closer look at our progress in 2023. On our first goal to fully utilize all of HUD's funding and apply for additional funding, we use 99% of our annual budget. We also received 24 new vouchers for incremental housing. Those vouchers typically target specific populations such as VASH, our Veterans Program, and foster youth, FYI. We also received an award of 25 vouchers for our Foster Youth to Independence program. Goal number 2, when we're looking to expand the Family Self-Sufficiency Program, 36 new participants were enrolled into the program in 2023, bringing our total to 129 participating families. So the HUD mandates that we have a minimum of 56 families enrolled in our program. So with 129 enrolled, Saha has 230% more families enrolled in our FSS program than is required by HUD. That's quite an achievement. 71% of those families have an escrow account balance on the program. And we also communicate with our participants regularly through email newsletters where we promote success stories for families that are participating. We also send out a calendar as well for those who don't have email addresses. So goal number 3 is to ensure the accuracy and compliance of our voucher operations. Saha was certified this year again as a high performer by HUD. The CMAP is the Section 8 Management Assessment Program, and it just measures the performance of the housing authorities. Saha also, we use the CMAP process as a way to audit our own tenant files so that we can make sure that our program is running successfully. We audited a total of 380 files, again, overachieving and doing more than is required by HUD, 10 times more than is required by HUD for that auditing. For our inspections, we conducted a total of 53, again, surpassing HUD's requirement by 2 times the amount. So this is the CMAP scores are what HUD uses to determine who's a high-performing agency and who is a low-performing agency. So our goal number 4, we want to increase our housing choice options to our participants by providing customer service to our existing landlords and conducting outreach for new ones. So Saha sends out a monthly electronic newsletter to our landlords, and each one will provide key program updates and information that they'll find useful. For example, right now, there are a lot of changes happening in HUD that's going to affect both our participants and our landlords. The biggest one we're facing right now is with our inspection process. And so we are reaching out to the landlords now to get them prepared for that so that they'll be ready when the implementation takes place. Goal number 5, we have succeeded in that goal as well to affirmatively further fair housing. We have held mandatory trainings for the entire housing division employees on fair housing, as well as we update the landlords through our newsletter and our participants as well through different types of flyers and information we provide to them as well. And goal number 6, of course, we want to make sure that our participants and our owners are aware of the VAWA protections so that we can make sure that we are providing the best assistance to those vulnerable populations as well. So these are just a few pictures of some of the success stories of people that have been assisted through our voucher program and through FSS. The household on the left, you can see over the years, she was able to further her education and get not only a bachelor's degree, but now she's working on her master's degree. So that's wonderful. Additionally, the participant on the right is able to save up money through his escrow account to hopefully put a down payment on a home of his own in the future. So the next steps is that there will be a public hearing at the City Council meeting on April 2nd. And the deadline for submission for the fiscal year 2024-25 annual plan is on April 17th, which is 75 days before the city's fiscal year. So that concludes my presentation. I do have 2 recommended items that need your review, so I'll hand this back over to the chair.
Very good. Thank you. Do the commissioners have any questions? All right. I'll get on my right.
Oh,
Claudio, please.
thank you for that great presentation. Definitely, Section 8 provides, and the Housing Authority provide a very important service. You mentioned, notification of the Violence Against Women Act. Is there, when there are complaints, potential domestic violence is going on, is there any enforcement measures taken by the Housing Authority or passed on, or how is that handled?
When there is, what we do when we receive that there is someone on our program who is a victim of such, we are able to provide them with housing needs in order to move them away from the situation or to provide the assistance to get them out of their current situation. We don't enforce,
There's no, okay.
Yeah.
But like for survivors of domestic violence,
Right,
they are
it's-
provided avenues to get out of that situation if they report.
Well, it's a way to keep them from losing their assistance because of the incident. Say there was an instance where the police were involved and that had an effect on their housing. Maybe there was a potential eviction or issues with the landlord because of that. Then we can protect that voucher, that survivor, and move them into another household without them losing their assistance.
All right, thank you.
Just kind of education wise, like, can you educate me? Like, I know we have the limited voucher for housing voucher. So what are we doing to increase that number? Just, based on.
I'll hand that over to Jackie to answer that question for me.
Okay. As far as, my name is Jackie Nguyen. I'm the operations supervisor. As far as increasing our number of vouchers, it's all based on funding. So we would like to, get as much fund as possible from HUD. We apply new voucher whenever there is additional funding for any type of funding at all to support our regular client that on our waiting list, our special purpose voucher, as we mentioned, to reduce homelessness, chronic homeless, regular homeless family, veterans. So any resources available at all, we go after it. We apply for it.
Well, keep doing what you guys doing. I've been hearing a lot, like Santa Ana Housing Department doing very well. From Vietnamese community, like my mom, they talk like
Thank
you guys
you.
doing very good job out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Bedalia.
Thank you for your presentation. The only question I have is when you're doing community outreach, based on the numbers, there were only 7 Spanish speakers, 10 Vietnamese and 30 in English. How can, I know this is going to be happening yearly, but how do we make sure to have a, I don't want to say better outreach, but to have more community feedback or more, more data, more feedback.
Yeah, so for the Resident Advisory Board, we do send the invitation out to all of these Housing Choice Voucher participants that are within the city of Santa Ana. We send the invitation out in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. So whoever, volunteers to come in is who we have. So we send it out through email, we send it on the mail, we give them the option to also complete the survey online. This is a pretty good number that we had this year, pretty big turnout. So we're really proud of that number, but of course we'll continue to, our outreach efforts to get as many participants as we can.
And knowing that most of every program, or there are many surveys out there, how can the city be more, I don't want to say honor the time of people who are doing the surveys, but kind of be creative of the same way you guys do raffles for the water contest. Maybe that will be a way to attract more surveys or more feedback. The point is to be creative and get more. I know 37 is a good number, but I think we can do way more. But thank you. Thank you.
That is a great suggestion. Yeah, thank you. We'll take that into consideration.
All right, thank you. And Commissioner Shelby, I was looking at you, we called Commissioner Adalia. So go ahead, please. Any questions?
Great presentation, but no comments.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Padilla, I know you have questions. Feel free.
No, I don't have questions. Thank you for your presentation.
My pleasure.
I have egg on my face. Okay, all right. I will just say that I was impressed with the numbers there, 230% of what HUD expects. And I don't know how many of the commissioners here remember Dave Ream, the old city manager for many years. He used to say, well, in fact, he was quite proud of this when he told me this, that he felt that staff here at City Hall does more per person than many other city staffs that he's ever dealt with. So good job and thank you. Alrighty. Okay.
Well, can I say thank you too? I didn't say thank you, so I don't want to be the one.
There you go.
Staff.
My
Way
pleasure.
to go, Commissioner Cornelius. All right,
My pleasure.
moving on now. Do we have a motion to approve item number 3?
Let's
Approve
move
the
it.
fiscal year. Let me go ahead and finish reading. Approve the fiscal year 2024, 2025 Housing Authority Annual Plan. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Matter approved by unanimous consent. We have one public hearing, item number 4 today. Approve the fiscal year 2024, 2025 annual action plan and budgets for the Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnership Grant, and Emergency Solutions Grant, and authorize submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time and place for the public hearing of the Community Development Commission of the City of Santa Ana. Approve the fiscal year 2024, 2025 annual action plan and budgets for the Community Development Block Grant, the Home Investment Partnership Grant, and Emergency Solutions Grant, and authorize submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. Will staff please make their report?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is David Flores, Housing Programs Coordinator, and I'm going to be giving you a brief presentation on the fiscal year 24-25 annual action plan that should be submitted to HUD. So Briefly, I'm going to cover the consolidation plan overview. I know we've gone through these presentations before, but it's always important to go over this material, right? So every 5 years, the grantee, which is the city, must submit to HUD a 5-year consolidation plan with which outlines grantees' plans to use funds for eligible programs and projects. So this is our current annual action plan. It's a pretty thick document. It's for a period of 5 years. We're currently in our 4th year, and this annual action plan that we're presenting to you tonight will be the 5th year of that consolidation plan. Okay. So the city must submit the annual action plan every year during the 5-year consolidation plan cycle, outlining projects and programs cited in the 5-year plan. Back in May of 2020, the 5-year consolidation plan was prepared and it was submitted to HUD. That plan covers a period of July 1st, 2020 through June 30th of 2025. So when we're developing the consolidated plan, we were able to identify 6 priority needs, and you have them up on the slide on the left-hand side. And with those 6 priority needs, we also created 5 associated goals to accomplish those needs that were identified. So one example would be the first one and the second one that have to do with housing: expand supply of affordable housing and preserve housing supply of affordable housing. So the goal is to create affordable housing developments in our community and to maintain and preserve our current housing stock that we currently have in the city of Santa Ana. So we do this through an RFP process with the HOME program, and with CDBG funds, we fund Habitat for Humanity to do our single family rehabilitation program to preserve our current housing stock. Okay. Another example is which is 4th one down, increase access to and supply of homeless services and facilities. So as all of you know, we currently have a homeless shelter. And in addition to that, through our Emergency Solutions Grant, we fund homeless services that consist of 5 different public service programs that provide outreach services. And I'll cover that during the ESG slide. But that's how we meet those goals. This is just an example of a flow chart, how the process works. So we create the consolidated plan, and every year within that plan, we have to create an annual action plan. And after that annual action plan is completed, then we have to create what's called the CAPER, or like the report card of what we did that year to meet the goals that were identified in the consolidated plan. So the CAPER will be brought to you hopefully after July, giving you the report card of everything that we accomplished with all the accomplishment numbers or data. So any questions about the con plan? All right, let's move on. Annual action plan. The city of Santa Ana receives annual grants from HUD for affordable housing, street improvement, parks, public facility improvements, economic development activities, code enforcement activities. And all of these services are utilized to deliver services for individuals who experience homelessness or the need for these types of services. So for fiscal year 24-25, the city anticipates to receive the following amounts. And we say anticipate because we haven't received our annual award letter from HUD. So we're hoping that these award amounts are going to be the same as fiscal year 23-24. So when we get that award letter, all of these documents will be modified, and hopefully that will be done before we submit to HUD back in May. So for the community development block grant, we anticipate to receive $4.8 million. For the HOME program, $1.6 million. And for the Emergency Solutions Grant, a little bit over $400,000. Funds are programmed and allocated in the city's annual action plan, which I'm going to cover in a few minutes. So as we create the consolidated plan and the annual action plan, very similar to the Housing Authority, we have to do outreach and engagement activities, right? So as part of the process, we gather feedback and input from residents and stakeholders via 2 public hearings. So we're having one public hearing today through the commission, and the second public hearing will be at the city council meeting on May 7th. In addition, HUD requires that the draft annual action plan be made available for a period of 30 days for public review and comment period. That 30-day began on March 15 and it will sunset on April 15. So the public has the opportunity to review the action plan and its contents and to give us feedback on how to improve it or to modify some of the programs and projects that are identified in that plan. On March 15, a public notice was published in the 3 local newspapers. So in the Orange County Register, which was in English, La Opinión in Spanish, and the Vietnamese newspaper. The annual action plan is also published in our website for everybody to have access and review. So now I'm going to talk about the 3 different programs, their budgets, and I'm going to try to give you some examples of what we're going to do with those funds. So first, I'm going to start with CDBG, Community Development Block Grant. So the Community Block Grant Program provides funds to improve low to moderate income neighborhoods, to eliminate blight and create a more stable economic base. These funds may be used for a diverse range of programs, including administration, code enforcement activities, economic activities, public services, public facility improvements, streets, sidewalks, and parks improvement. And you see the table there with all the different activities and the funding amounts that we're allowed to fund for those different activities. So economic development through CDBG funds. So we could do a variety of things with economic development, but the city has decided that we're going to create a program to help small business grow through a small business incentive program. So as you can see at that slide, there are 2 current businesses there that I would like to talk about. So the first one is Pollo Campero. Pollo Campero, I believe we have 2 restaurants here in the city of Santa Ana, one on Bristol Street and the other one on 17th Street and Grand. So our economic development division has been very active in assisting these businesses with their business license, with making sure they go through all of the city permit process to make that process easier so that they can establish their businesses here. The second one is the Rafferty Building. So the Rafferty Building is a housing development project, but as you can see on the first floor, they're going to open that up for small businesses. And we hope that they're going to be small businesses that could be located at the first floor. So once again, our economic development division is very active working with the Rafferty building to attract businesses for their spaces there. Second one would be our city facilities, right? So we have the PEL program, which is the Santa Ana Police Athletic and Activity League. So we have provided funding for 2 years now to rehabilitate that facility. So the first year we provided some funds to do the design work, the architectural work to design the improvement of the restrooms so they can be ADA compliant. Last year, we funded that program to do the construction work. So we're hoping that construction will be done this year and completed by June of 2025. And we'll report to you those accomplishments when it gets done. But that's a huge success for all the kids that want to participate in that program. This year, our Planning and Building Department has submitted an application to do a co-payment treatment at 2 parking lots, the Angels Park and El Salvador Park. So they're going to do that treatment. And after that treatment is done, hopefully they can create a better community, a more enjoyable park for all of the residents to take advantage of. Through CDBG, we also fund Habitat for Humanity, which I talked about earlier, to fund the single family rehabilitation program. So this year, we're going to complete about 15 homes that we're rehabilitating. And that includes a new roof, new windows, new sewers, plumbing, anything that's health and safety related, and anything that has to do with improvements of ADA standards and compliance. So that program has been very successful. Now, code enforcement activities, CDBG does fund this every single year. So I'm giving you some examples here, what activity or citations, code enforcement issues to our community. So as you could see on the first picture there, they had a lot of maybe personal belongings or items there on the garage, that could potentially be a health and safety issue, a fire issue. So code enforcement goes out there, they issue citation. When the citation is done, then you see the picture in the bottom, how they corrected that citation, and now the house, has been beautified, right? So that helps the resident and it helps the whole community as well. And there's another example there on the right-hand side. And some more examples here. So that first picture on top, that was an abandoned home. There was people that went in there, broke all the windows. So there was a citation issued. We did some improvements there, and look at the results in the bottom. It's beautiful, right? So that's where taxpayer money goes to. And then on the right-hand side, that yard was not maintained. So that was a nuisance for the community. So there was a citation issued, and the bottom picture is the results of the improvements. So that's where our CDBG dollars are going to. CDBG also funds public service programs, and some of these are these are some of the nonprofit programs that we fund through our nonprofit organizations. And all of you had an opportunity to release the application, to review the application, score them, and do the recommendation to council just recently, right? So in the annual action plan, that is all delineated there. So when it goes to council, they're going to know that that was part of the work that this commission did. So that was CDBG. Now I'm going to move to the home program. The home program provides funds for a wide range of housing related activities, including building, buying, and or rehabilitation of affordable housing for rent or home ownership, or providing direct tenant-based rental assistance to low-income residents. So we provided you with the table for all the different activities under the home program and their funding amounts for you to review. So with the home program, we fund housing development projects, and we're going to provide you with two examples. So the first one is Archways. So back in May of 2022, the city council approved $3.9 million in funding for the development of the Archways. That's located on Westminster Avenue. So this includes a combination of funding sources. It's not just the home funds, as you can see there. So through the home funds, we funded $2 million. We also layered that with $1.5 million in inclusionary housing funds and almost $400,000 in rental rehabilitation program funds, right? So there's a lot of money needed to do these housing developments. We can't do it alone just on our HUD funded program. So we make sure that we try to combine the different funding sources. So the project includes 84 new affordable housing units and 1 manager's unit. So that's 58 3- and 4-bedroom units for large families, and 26 permanent supporting housing units for persons experiencing homelessness. So do you remember back in the consolidated plan when we identified the 6 needs? Remember, there was one in regards to serving homeless population. This is another way that we're meeting that need that was identified. The second one is the Crossroads at Washington. So back in June of 2022, City Council approved $4.6 million in funding for the development of the Crossroads at Washington. This included $3 million in home investment partnership funds and $1.6 million in neighborhood stabilization program, or NSP funds. The project includes 85 new affordable units and 1 manager's unit, with 42 2-, 3-, and 4-bedroom units for large families, and 43 permanent supporting housing units for persons experiencing homelessness. So that's a lot of housing, right? So we're very successful with these programs. Currently, we have a request for proposals that's out right now. We're waiting for proposals to come in, but this proposal is for affordable home ownership opportunities. So this request for proposal was released back on October 20th. And we're looking for qualified firms for the development of affordable home ownership opportunities in the city. The proposal development may be for the acquisition and or rehabilitation of eligible properties for home ownership opportunities, the acquisition and conversion of non-residential properties for home ownership housing units, and or construction of housing units for home ownership. The available funds for this request for proposal includes home funds in the amount of 8.3 million. So if any of you know of any good developers that wants to develop any housing for home ownership opportunities, please reach out to them. Let them know that there is a request for proposal in the Santa Ana Plan and Bids website, and we look forward to reviewing their proposal. So for ESG, this is our third HUD program, Emergency Solutions Program, or grant, I should say, is a program provides funds to assist sheltered and unsheltered homeless individuals, as well as those at risk of homelessness, to quickly regain stability and permanent housing after experiencing a housing crisis and homelessness. So once again, we provided you with the table of our funding and all the different activities that can be funded through the Emergency Solutions Grant and the funding amounts for those specific activities. Some examples, all of you are familiar with Wise Place. It's a shelter for domestic violence victims. We also fund the HEART program to do outreach services. Illumination Foundation, we just funded them this year. This is the first year that they're receiving funding. And there's a picture of a police officer engaging with some folks who are experiencing homelessness at this time, doing some outreach services. So the next steps. We finished with the public, or we're currently in the public hearing for the commission, the first one. The next step is to do the second public hearing that will take place at the city council meeting on May 7th. Then we have a deadline to submit the fiscal year 24-25 annual action plan to HUD no later than May 15th. That's a federal mandate, and that's 45 days before the end of the city's fiscal year, which is June 30th. So currently we have 4 items that we're recommending, and we hope that you consider it, and I'll pass that back to our chair.
Thank you, Dave. Great job. Does the commission have any questions for staff? And this time I'm going to start to my far left with Commissioner Shelby.
Your presentations, but I have no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Daya.
Thank you for your presentation. I don't know if it was the city or the developers of the Archways project in the Washington projects. I just want to extend my gratitude because they're doing the 3 and 4 bedrooms, and that's what community needs, especially to apply for affordable housing projects. Sometimes families don't qualify because of the number of the members of the family. So I just want to say, if it was the city, thank you for doing that. And if it wasn't, that this is a good opportunity to honor the developers. But I think at the end of the day, community will benefit from those projects. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's always a joint effort. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Anna.
Hi, David.
Hello.
I just have a quick question on the program that you were talking for the CBDG, the rehab of the houses. You shows beautiful pictures of how they look before and after. So I just want to understand a little bit more of the process. So if code enforcement is citing a property that is in bad shape, then CBDG funding is utilized to beautify that property?
So we refer to it as rehabilitating the property so that it could become a beautiful property, right? So it can become beautified, but it's rehabilitation. So anytime we use CDBG funding for code enforcement activity, we always have to have a rehabilitation program attached to that. So when there's citations that go out for those homeowners that can't afford to do the rehabilitation work, like there's a lot of citations that go to seniors, right, that are retired, that are on limited income. So those are the ones that are usually referred to the CDBG program, so we could implement our funds to assist that homeowner with rehabilitating their house so they can have a brand new roof. During the rains, there was a lot of leaks, so we improved that. ADA improvement, because a lot of the seniors are now on wheelchairs or walkers, so they need ramps to go into their home. So that we could utilize CDBG funds for that as well. But we don't do remodeling, right? So we do rehabilitation, and there's a very clear difference,
No, and you say the word like it's for people in need, right? Like if it's a senior that cannot afford it anymore, that's the reason why they haven't done any rehab in their property, then that's when we come in.
That's
And
correct.
and for example, if that senior, after you rehab their home, decided to sell it, they're not hold to anything paid back to the city or anything like that.
No, because all of the CDBG funds for this specific program is on a grant basis, so it's not a loan. So it's up to $25,000 if they do a roof, but if they don't do a roof, it's a lot less.
Okay. I just wanted to understand, because I
That's a
saw
great question.
one of the pictures had a for sale sign, so I was questioning that.
Yeah.
I don't have more questions right now. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Commissioner Dane.
Hey there, thank you for the report. I want to understand, for the developer, if they want to come in and provide housing, home ownership, housing, do we have a list of, what are we looking to build? Like, like perfectly, like, like, are we looking to like senior housing, co-op housing, thing like that? Do we have that kind of, thing that we expect develop come in, hey, this is what we're looking to build from our city, can you guys provide that? Or they come in, they propose to you at the city, and we want to see that whether they fit to the city needs or not. Is that how the process works? Can you tell me more about it? Yeah.
Sure, that's a great question. Thank you for that. So when we release a request for proposals, usually there's a scope of work or there's identified goals that we would like to achieve in the city. So this current request for proposals is strictly for home ownership opportunities. And that could be for anybody in the community, whether you're a young person or an elderly person. They would just have to qualify based on their income. But all the details would be in the request for proposals. We've had issued other proposals that are strictly for rehabilitation. And then some of them for a combination of rehabilitation and for new development of rental units. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Claudio.
No questions. Great job.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Cornelius.
One quick question. Well, thank you for your presentation. Could you elaborate a little bit on how the small business program was used with the Rafferty? To promote small businesses, just because my assumption would be like the small business would be for like a local business, like the Rafferty means like a multi-million-dollar project. So yeah.
Right. So CDBG funds are not being used for the development of the Rafferty. So we're hoping that our economic development division will attract businesses to set up shop on the first floor. And if they're a small business, low income business, then they can potentially qualify for the economic development grant, which is a micro enterprise grant. And we can help them up to $5,000 so they can start up their business or retain some new employees. But the money doesn't go to the developer, it goes to the business owners.
So it'll be one of the business owners on that first floor there on that of that.
Correct.
So okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, another question,
Just,
Commissioner Lee.
just pop up. Do we have any program catered specifically to district, like special development district, like zone, like especially like in Auckland? I used to know there's a special economic zone, so the business within that zone have like lower tax cut, better service from the city. So I'm just curious, like in our city, do we have any zone that like that, just to like to help promote small business, or like kind of gear them all kind of in one specific zone? Does it make
Yeah.
sense? Like district?
Is your question regarding the small business grant? Yeah, no, it's citywide. Yeah, we don't say just 4th Street or, Harbor Corridor, or the Bristol Corridor, excuse me. No, it's citywide. As long as they're considered a low income business and micro enterprise, meaning 5 employees or less, then they would qualify for the grant. Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have another question if you have.
No surprise. Go ahead.
Just last one. While you were going to your presentation, you mentioned that you do community outreach for the CBDG part of it. correct?
Correct.
Do you have any data of what you have collected that people want to see? What programs do they want to see on the CBDG? Or what is the community outreach that you're seeking to put programs together through this money?
Yeah, so we do community outreach in the form of the newspaper public hearing. We put it on our website. We release it to all of the different communities when they have their community meetings. And we don't usually get a big response, but this year we are getting a response. And those public comments, I think I received about 5 public comments that will be presented to our council this year, which is the first year this happens in the 5 years of the consolidated plan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to know for future years, because I know right now we're wrapping up. But how is that engagement with the community, especially with the CBDG? Because I'm talking about just myself. I've been learning a lot of things that can be done with that monies, and I've been identifying a lot of things that can be done also by the needs of our community right now. And I just feel like it was just brought to my attention because I listened to it from another city. So I just had a question of that, like how are we doing the outreach for the community to really, for them to understand where this money is coming from and where it can be utilized so we can really get most feedback of the ones that need it the most. Because for example, like, I don't know how you guys come up with the $5,000 grant. Like, I understand that it's like something that will help a lot of the businesses, but maybe the business community is looking for other resources more than just a grant that can be, which I know we have done education, some too, that we have partnered with the SBA and we have done some classes and stuff. But I think also there's other needs that that hasn't been met that may qualify through this money. And I feel like it will be better if we I don't know if we do kind of a survey for next year's. Like, I know we're wrapping up this one and I'm not trying to change anything on this one, but it's just like an idea, like maybe doing a survey to our different business corridors to see what they're looking for, or not only on business, but everything that we can create with this CBDG funding.
Yeah, that's a great question, comment. So as I stated earlier, the consolidation plan is going to be sunsetting pretty soon. So beginning July 1st, we're going to start the new process for creating the new consolidated plan. So when we're in the process of doing this, I have all my staff here that's going to participate in doing community outreach. So we're planning on going to all of the local businesses regarding economic development opportunities. We're going to go to a lot of the different communities in Santa Ana and doing presentation at their community meetings. We'll go to senior centers, childcare centers. We'll do an intensive outreach and engagement process so that we can identify the different needs and priorities for the next 5 years. Yeah. But we definitely will keep that in mind. And we will have our economic development team join us as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions from me here, Dave. You said we hadn't received the award letter. When do we normally receive that from HUD?
It varies. Sometimes we receive it in March and sometimes we receive it in April. So I think they're a little late this year, but it's forthcoming.
And you said that basically what we were looking at as far as numbers for 24, 25 were your projections, which were pretty close to last year.
Correct.
Okay. Do we have any reason to believe that we may not get the same amount approved?
Yes, because there are HUD funds and the money comes from Congress. So if depending on the budgets that they approve and when they do the different calculations, we may get an increase or we may receive a decrease.
Okay.
And if that happens, we'll do all the appropriate adjustments in our annual action plan.
Okay. I would love to hear an update at our next meeting if we have the letter there in time.
We'll do.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then code enforcement, which is something, being a neighborhood guy, that's always near and close to my heart. There's been a lot of changes in code enforcement here through the years that I've seen. The 825, I saw the illustrations. There were pictures back, I think, to 2018. Is the 825 strictly for residential code enforcement, or is there some of those funds available for commercial code enforcement?
So it's strictly for residential.
Okay,
And the citations that are issued in the residential areas have to be CDBG eligible residential areas. So we can't go to, and I don't want to say a specific community, but maybe those communities that are not CDBG eligible, we will not provide CDBG funding to do rehabilitation or to pay for the code enforcement officer's time for the citation.
okay. And then one of the business sites that was cited there besides, forgot the first one down, but the second one was the Rafferty Building. I'm pretty sure I know where that is, but can you confirm that address?
I don't have the address on the top of my head, but it's located here in the downtown area on the corner of 4th Street and Main,
Okay,
right in the corner.
All right,
Beautiful
thank you.
building.
great. Yeah, they showed a little bit about it yesterday at the Grow Conference.
Yeah.
Good-
And I
good.
believe it was the old title company that they acquired the building. And I believe in the corner of 3rd Street and Main, they have they just redid that whole, like the facade of the title company. It's beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I was pleased to see funding there for Pell and the Habitat for Humanity folks. Always good groups there. With that, I think we're good on this end. Unless there's any other questions from my commissioners? No? Okay. Let me go back to my outline here. Do we have a motion to approve item number 4, approve the fiscal year 2024-2025 annual action plan and budgets for the Community Development Block Grant, the Home Investment Partnership Grant, and the Emergency Solutions Grant, and to authorize submission to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development? Do I have a motion?
Let's move.
Oh, I got 2 of them. So who's
I'll-
gonna
I'll
go first?
second.
You second? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Matter approved by unanimous consent. At this time, we'd like to hear from the public. Do we have
Excuse
it?
me, Chair, you need to close the public hearing. There's
Oh,
a
I'm
note in
sorry.
there that you have to close it.
Okay, all right. Okay, at this time, I guess we will close the public hearing. On my script, it said it asked for comments there, but are we good to go with comments? Nope, no comments. Okay, moving on then. Okay. And no written communication? Okay, all right. Then we will carry on. Okay, we have one item under the work study session. Please note that there will be no motion or action taken on this item. The first item is under work study session, item number 5, fiscal year 2024-2025 budget workshop. Will staff please make their presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'd like to invite up our finance staff to the podium to present our work study session.
Well, today is perfect timing because I'm here to talk outreach, and that is obviously the buzzword of the day. So we're here to accomplish 2 things. One is to get ideas or recommendations on how to improve our outreach efforts. The mayor has charged us this year with getting up to 20,000 responses on our survey. We're at about 1,200 with 7 weeks to go. So I'm asking for your help. We're also here to obtain your input on what your budget priorities are for the city in your role as a commissioner or even as a Santa Ana resident. So I'm going to start off showing you a 4-minute video we have that provides a very basic general overview of the budget. And we're showing this to folks because let me tell you, at our community budget meetings, we put people to sleep when we start going up there and showing pie charts and talking. It just wasn't working, and we want to get people engaged in the process. So this is our latest effort at doing so. It's a 4-minute video. It won't put you to sleep.
The City of Santa Ana wants to hear from you. We need your help to decide how to spend your tax dollars and which city services to prioritize in our new budget. The City Council adopts a budget each year to provide services to our community of more than 300,000 residents and 30,000 businesses. The budget is simply a plan for spending city revenue over the next fiscal year. The fiscal budget year is July 1st through June 30th. The current budget of $870 million provides police, fire and ambulance services, street and park maintenance, library services, water and sewer service, programs for the unhoused community, and more. Funding for these services comes from taxes, fees, and allocations from county, state, and federal governments. Slightly more than half of the funding sources are restricted, meaning the city can only spend the money on specific services such as affordable housing or street improvements. The remainder of funding is unrestricted, meaning the city can spend the money on any city service such as public safety, library services, and parks and recreation programs. During the annual budget process, the City Council focuses on the unrestricted money accounted for in the city's general fund. The primary sources of revenue in the general fund are property taxes and sales taxes. For each dollar of property tax that you pay, the city receives approximately 19 cents, with the remaining portion going to countywide services and schools. If you shop or dine in Santa Ana, you pay 9.25% sales tax. The city receives 1% of the normal allocation, plus 1.5% for voter-approved Measure X. Measure X pays for 22% of the general fund budget. This important revenue source has helped the city retain and add police officers, provide services to the unhoused community, and address the effects of homelessness in the city's right-of-way. Measure X has also been used to build and maintain parks, provide youth services, improve the Santa Ana Regional Transportation Center, repair fire stations, and remove graffiti. In just 5 years, the city will lose $30 million of this important revenue source when the Measure X rate decreases from 1.5% to 1%. The tax goes away completely in 2039. The city currently has a balanced budget, meaning recurring revenue is sufficient to pay for recurring services. In the upcoming fiscal year, we expect it to be more difficult to balance the budget. The city's cost for labor, construction materials, and supplies are increasing faster than the city's revenue sources. More than ever, we need your opinion to help the city focus on the services our residents need. There are multiple ways for you to participate. Attend a city council meeting and offer your public comment. Complete the city's budget priorities survey. You can do so by filling out a paper survey, online, or even on your cell phone. Use the city's online tool to balance the budget, or select your priorities. It's easy and fun. For more information on the budget, scan the QR code you see today, visit the city's website, or email the budget team. The city of Santa Ana prides itself on financial transparency. More information is located at the city's website. Here you'll find the current fiscal year's budget in detail, prior year budgets, annual financial reports, and more. Thank you for caring about your city's budget. Your opinion counts.
Okay, so we're in what I call the listening tour part of the budget process. We are attending citywide events. We are hosting numerous community budget meetings. We're having what I call informal focus groups with neighborhood associations or just me listening or with nonprofits. And the first thing we do at each of these meetings is ask folks, what is it they want to talk about? Because we found if we just had a preset agenda, like the folks at El Salvador Center don't want to have the same conversation maybe the people at Roosevelt Walker do. Like some people don't want to talk budget details. They want to talk budget input. Other people say, show me your financials. Tell us how you're spending the money now. So that's how we start off. And we found that that has been a more productive effort when we just listen or put it out there for people's input. So compilation of the feedback is going to occur in two phases. Oh, we also are attending citywide events. So we bribe parents by saying, hey, here's some stuff for your kids to do work color with, toys to play with while you're filling out the survey. So we're not above any efforts to get more people involved, but compilation of the feedback occurs in two phases. The first will be shared at the first council meeting in May in summary form. The collection window for the survey and the simulation tool closes at 12:01 on May 13th. We will compile all of the responses and share with council. A detailed version of every single response will also be shared with council via a file. The final results will be shared with council at the May 21st council meeting in summary form. Okay, so that's the plan. So two things. One is how can we be more involved in the community? Like I said, we're hitting the pavement with neighborhood associations, area nonprofits. We also know the importance of collaborating even within the city, like HUD. A lot of the outreach efforts they're talking about, they're requesting the same type of information we're requesting. And I know Public Works is always doing events, they're always having surveys. So like best practices says, work with each other, collaborate. So that's one of our big goals for the upcoming year is to make budget engagement an year-round process, not something that happens just in the spring, and B, collaborate with all of our city partners. Do you have any other recommendations or some things I haven't mentioned or we haven't thought of about how we can improve engagement?
Have you made this presentation to the Comlink group?
That is tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Good timing. Let me open it up here for questions or input. Mr. Daniel.
Looks like you're doing, we need discussion, so. Thank you.
You good? Okay. Anna.
I do. So I got about 200 of these cards at my office and it's tax season. So
Oh,
80
okay.
people, the 1,200 have come from my office because I personally helped them to fill it out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, so yeah, the mayor dropped them off at my office, but she really is aiming
Good.
for getting those 20,000 that she wants. Another thing that I will suggest, and I can start probably copying you on the emails. There's many nonprofits and associations that they have a newsletter that they can attach this flyer or the link for the survey. I had
Okay.
already requested it to 3 of them that they're very local and that I know that they cater to only Santa Ana residents. Then the other, what was my other idea? I lost train of thought. Yeah, the newsletters are very important. I wanted to know what are your efforts with the Santa Ana Unified District?
So I've reached out to them. Is it FACE, the group FACE that works on community engagement? I haven't successfully reached them. If you have any ideas about how, I mean, a lot of them, I'm sure they're getting emails and phone calls from some weird sounding lady. They're like, why is she calling me all the time? So if you have any like contacts that I could reach and said, hey, Commissioner Padilla.
I can initiate
that would be
actually a
great.
commissioner from the Arts and Culture Department. She
Okay.
works for Santa Ana Unified District.
Okay.
And she has been able to do a lot of things in the art commission
That'd be excellent.
with them.
Yeah.
So I can reach out to her because I'm thinking, where do we gather more people? And I know parents' conference are always full and they tend to do the surveys and facilitate the information that they're being asked to. So you will get more engagement
thank you.
through the Santa Ana Unified District because again, it's about kids and then you can have information from them. And the city events that you're doing, I think it's great too. But just encourage my colleague commissioners that we can do a lot to get this survey out. I'm the first one that complains that that there's no outreach, but when there's outreach, I think it's the public that doesn't want to participate. So I really it's been one of my goals to get more of this out. So thank you
We'll
for
take
what
all the
you guys
help we
are
can
doing.
get. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And I echo those comments as well. Commissioner Delia.
Thank you for your presentation. I really like the video, but I think we can still, there's another video from the city. I'm not sure which one, but it shows animation.
Oh, okay.
I just remember that I saw it. I don't remember from which department.
Okay.
But the point is that I'm always thinking if an 8-year-old can understand the information, then everybody will. That's one. And another one, I think Miss Lisa Solomon, it's the,
Oh, yes,
Um,
I recognize that name.
yes, I think she's the, yeah, but I think she's the head of the department of the FACE community workers. So she will be a good contact, and I think she's very open to
Okay.
support. Another one, I will echo what Ms. Padilla mentioned about nonprofits. I think Latino Health Access is very, it has a very big base of community members. So how can we reach out to, I don't know if the city has I don't know, a directory of nonprofits that have work in other years, but I think we can do better. And the same way when the city made a video for the census on 2020, they asked for community members if they wanted to participate in a video. Maybe if we see familiar faces promoting
Right.
the budget, people might get more interested in participating. And I'm not gonna, I mean, I love raffles, and I mean, if they have a motivation, maybe, again, they might take minutes of their day to say, maybe this is important, and maybe I can get an iPad for my kid, or a gift card or something,
Yeah.
that they will be motivated to take minutes of their day.
Yeah, that's a really good point. We've been in talks with public information about a way, just by forwarding or retweeting or whatever. I'm not a social media person, but whatever that is, there's an app that can track that. And for people who do that, maybe we can send them like a gift card or something.
Right. And once again, if an 8-year-old can fill out the form, because there's always these questions of very important, somewhat important. If we have like 3 good, bad, and great, then it's easier for community to just
Right.
fill it out and not take, I don't know.
That is an excellent point.
Yes. So just make it everything accessible to community members.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Shelby.
Thank you for your presentation. I have no questions.
Okay,
Sherry, you may I?
please, Commissioner Padilla.
I'm so sorry. I remember what I wanted to say. Have you done any efforts to partner with Travel Santa Ana?
I'm sorry.
Travel Santa Ana?
No.
Well, Travel Santa Ana does a great community outreach, and they have a great marketing platform. I'm 100% positive that they will like to share this in their
Okay.
social media, because it's also looking into who has a great following. And it's the matter of them sharing it, because you will get more audience into it. So I can send you information of Wendy has and Maria, which is the marketing director there. And then they can probably give you some ideas. They partner with the city all the time, and they're a great entity that they can also spread the word of this budget.
Thank you. What was the date here? I know this is fiscal year 24-25. What would be approximately the latest date that we can have neighbors and different groups and organizations and neighborhood associations give you input?
I would say May 12th, May 13th, because at that point, we really have to start compiling it and getting it to council.
Okay.
With our first public hearing is always the first Tuesday of June. And so, yeah, we'll have to compile everything. At that point, we're finalizing funding decisions, so.
Okay. You mentioned going out to the neighborhood associations. There's actually quite a few, not all are active, but there's 64. At Calm Lake, you might see 40 people if it's a good night. How many of the associations have you reached out to?
So far, I'm doing it by ward, since we're visiting with every council ward. And so we've finished them all. I've contacted, and I can tell you, so how we open up every meeting too is, hey, how did you even hear about this meeting? How did you know it was here? And it's through the contacts I'm doing with the neighborhood associations. Man, these people, they're committed, and they're engaged and communicative. And so it's been mostly through them. So I'm reaching out to all of them. We got the list of neighborhood associations and nonprofits from planning and building through their neighborhood initiatives team. They have like a big directory they pull from, and they were kind enough to share that with us.
Okay. I'm the chairman for the, it's actually 2 different neighborhood associations. It's basically everything on both sides of Portola Park.
Okay.
So from 17th to Santa Clara, from Grand to Tustin,
Okay.
I cover all the single family homes, not the condos, not the apartments, but there's 650 homes there. On a good night, we can have a pretty good crowd. So I would love to invite you.
Oh, I would love
to
that.
come make a
Yeah.
presentation. So I'll get your card.
Okay.
We'll coordinate.
Yeah.
We'll coordinate later there.
Okay.
And are you doing anything as far as posting on Nextdoor?
So that's a good question. I'm gonna have to defer to public information for that because I know they're posting places. I just can't say I'm on Nextdoor, but I haven't seen it yet, but that doesn't mean just because I haven't seen it, it hasn't happened. So
Okay.
I can follow up and let you know about Nextdoor.
Yeah, that is, depending on the subject, pretty well followed, pretty well
Okay,
shared. So
yeah.
I would encourage that as well. Are there any other questions here on this work study?
Just one more comment.
Please.
I think it will be very helpful if you add the timeline on the flyer, so that way people
Okay,
know that
okay.
they only have until the 13th.
Okay, yeah,
to
that's a
fill
good
out the
point.
survey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what? Claudio, I think you had to step out just before she started, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give Claudio a 60-second quick introduction?
We're seeking more engagement, outreach in the budget process. The goal is to get 20,000 people. I don't know if we're going to get there this year, but hey, as long as we're going up. And then if you as a commissioner or as a community member have any input you want to provide us about the budget that we can compile and share it with council. Okay.
All right.
Spread the word.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. No more questions. We'll move on. Thank you for your presentation. To staff comments, Judson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to give my thanks and appreciation to our team, David and Nikisha, especially for their presentations today on our annual action plan and our annual plan. Combined, these plans both program over $60 million in funding for fiscal year 24-25, and huge congratulations to our team on their presentations. Just two things here. First, we're excited to introduce 3 new members of our team. First new member that we'd like to introduce is Alex Hernandez, who joins us as our new residential construction specialist from the Irvine Company. Alex replaced Salo Mesquita, who was formerly with our team and is now with our rent stabilization division. And then we are excited to introduce Adriana, who joins us now from our housing authority. Adriana was formerly a housing specialist too with our housing authority, administering our special purpose vouchers. And before that, she was with Wise Place. And now Adriana joins us as our new community development analyst, who will be administering our down payment assistance program, and will be providing that information to our mayor and city council here in the next couple of days. And then finally, our newest member of our team, who you are all very familiar with, Orlando Martinez, who joins us now as our housing programs analyst. So we are very, very excited to have Orlando join us on our team. And Councilmember Lopez is working to fill that vacancy on our commission. And lastly, Nikisha has been leading an effort to recruit 2 new tenant commissioners who we know we see their vacant seats on our commission, and she is sending out a notice to all of our HCB participants in here in Santa Ana in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese to try and recruit new tenant commissioners, both mailing that out and emailing that out. And very excited to hopefully get more applications so that we can fill those 2 vacant seats. With that, I don't think we have anything else to report. David, Jackie, good? All right, fantastic. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Cornelius.
Thank you, everybody, for their presentations. I was wondering if we could get maybe some update, maybe at the next commission meeting, about the successor to the bid. I know local businesses have got some type of letter saying they're getting a refund of their previous bid funds they put in, something like that. I don't know. And I've also heard that there's like a pool of money that the local businesses are supposed to be applying for. I'm not sure. So if we can get some type of update to what's going on with that and with funds, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gallegos.
Thank you for those very informative presentations. Definitely learned a lot, and congratulations to the new community development employees, especially Orlando. Your knowledge And your very pointed questions will be missed. I mean, there was a couple times where I couldn't think of how to word it, and you managed to, ask the same question in a perfect way. So thank you and good luck to you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee.
Hey, just want to say welcome to the team, guy, and I guess finally now we can give you hug time instead. I'm just kidding, but well, thank you, guy, for all your work. Have a good day.
Commissioner Padilla.
Congratulations. You're gonna be missed over here, but I'm very happy that you joined the team with all your expertise and everything that you give to this commission. I learned a lot from you, so thank you for the time you shared the dais with us. And I just want to say thank you to the staff for the presentations, for everything that you guys do. I was at the Grow Conference yesterday, and it's definitely very, very exciting to see all the new things happening in Santa Ana, and more exciting to see that we have the staff that is working very hard to bring them. And I'm very proud to be part of a commission that I know is the one that works the most, not on the commissioner side, but on the staff side. And just to encourage my fellow commissioners to get ourselves more into the outreach. I know we always tell staff what are they doing, but I think it's also our responsibility as commissioners to really help out to get them those lines of communication or those ideas, but also doing in our end. It is my busy season, but I do serve a lot of my clients are residents of Santa Ana, so I was very happy to help into filling out these budget surveys, and honestly, it takes 5-10 minutes when they have questions. So I encourage you all, like if you go to network events or if you have your neighborhood association meetings or even with your neighbors, we can add a lot of numbers if each of us commit to spread the word and get this done, because it's important. Like that video, it's a great video, but it's also a scary video because we know the numbers in the city are gonna change pretty soon. So I think it's important that we all commit to see what are really the needs of the community, to try to bring into the commission and see what we can do, but also be there for our residents. And then also about the bid, I am one of the businesses that received the letter and I don't understand it very well. So I've been having a lot of emails and a lot of phone calls that people really don't understand how the process of that refund is gonna happen. So if we can get an email or something, if you can explain it to us so we can probably share the word. I definitely don't want to be spreading the news that I don't understand. So I refer everybody to call the city, but I also don't want to send you a bunch of calls. So that was it. Thank you everyone for today and have a great night.
Thank you, Commissioner Rios.
I just want to thank staff for the presentations and you just prove that you're making smart decisions by having new staff members. So I just want to say thank you. We are on the right path and we're looking forward to serve our community. So thank you very much.
Commissioner Gutierrez.
I just want to say thank you to all for coming up with these presentations. They were very helpful as someone who doesn't really know what's going on in the city. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I want to thank staff once again too. As I said before, Dave Ream would talk about you guys all the time. You know, the effort you guys put out, the overtime that I've seen, the quality of work that you guys do. Kudos. Thank you. I wanted to ask a couple of questions of the new staff. Adriana, when you were at Wise Place, do you remember a lady by the name of Kathy Bowman? Yes. Did you work with her? She's in my Kiwanis Club. Okay, I'm sure she knows of you, so I'll be speaking highly about you. And then Linda, I was wondering what happened to you. I'm looking at the agenda here. I'm going vacant Ward 3. I think, what happened to her? Where'd she go? I didn't even look at you and see you out there in the audience. So, well, low profile. Welcome. It's good to have you on staff. I also went to the GROW conference, and I remember what the ROW stands for. Judson, do you remember what the G stands for GROW? Put you on the spot. Do you remember? The G for the GROW. I know, okay. Yeah, okay. The R
He
was
gave
for
it to us.
resources.
Yes.
The O was for opportunity.
Yep.
The W was for workforce or workforce, but I can't remember the G.
Oh, gosh.
We'll just say great. Well,
Resources outreach. Oh, no, it's not outreach. It's, what is the O for?
R's for resources. Close.
Correct.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it was a great conference. I know Judson was there. I know Mike was there. I don't know if any other staff was there, but to see and hear about all the new development that's going on, that's coming. I mean, it's huge. And I was impressed with the quality. I couldn't get the signal. I was trying to search, but it was really a great conference. If my fellow commissioners, didn't make it this year, I know that Anna was there. I highly encourage you guys to go. It was really, really a positive thing. We know, just being very frank, Santa Ana takes a bit of a hit sometimes, okay? In the media, but it's a great city. There are great things happening. And the more we can learn about it, the more good we can do, the better of an ambassador we can be here for our community. So make it next year if you can. Also, I don't know if you guys have seen the emails about the Form 700, the economic interest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, get it done. I had a nice little friendly reminder here this week from staff up on the 8th floor. The latest we should have it in. Actually, we should do it this week, but the latest is Tuesday, April 2nd. So get it done. There's also some ethics training that you guys can do online. If you haven't done that, do that. And Judson, I brought this up before a few times. We've done a lot of good in the city. We've funded a lot of neat projects. In the old days, when I was on this commission 20 years ago, we would do field trips. We were able to see, the good of what our activity is up here. Can we start working towards that? It was a lot of fun. It was really neat to see. And I even enjoyed meeting the people that were there as well.
David and I have been wanting to bring that back. We did it a couple years ago, and we've been wanting to bring it back. So yeah, we'll look into to see how we can bring back a tour. We've done it with our public service providers, and we'll see how we can highlight a lot of the great work that this commission is doing.
Well, I can remember two. One was the what's the wardrobe place? Wardrobes. Okay, that was a good one. And then we did one at Wise Place as well. I can't remember anything else in the last few years, but if we can do that, I think it'd be a lot of fun. It's neat to put the face on the subject and to meet the people involved that we're benefiting. So I think it'd be great to do that. Work study. I made this comment before as well, because I read, what's in the outline. I go online, but there's really not much ever under work studies. So if we can get maybe a better preview as to what it's going to be on and what's going on, I think that'd be great for all of us. Let me see if there's something else I wanted to say here. I can't read my own notes. Okay. With that, I'm just going to say Happy Easter. And with that, our next meeting is April 24th. We will see you guys at 4:30. And again, Happy Easter, everyone. We're closed.